Hi everyone, it's Sophie here, the Sleep Genie from ShutEye.co.uk. Good to see you all again. My video today is going to help loads of parents out there because it's based on a question that I get asked all the time, which is, how do I know if my baby is waking because they're hungry or just because they're fussy? So I wanted to answer this question for you and give you some hints and tips to kind of know whether your child is hungry or not. Now, the common age of the babies, when the parents are coming to me with this question, is probably anywhere from 6 months onwards, up until about 12 months, something like that. And that's because we sort of read online or we get, messages from friends and family and health visitors that from about 6 months on, your child should physically be capable of going through the night without a feed. But, age is not necessarily the defining factor in all of it. So my first sort of tip for you is, yes, take age into account. And 6 months is really a good gauge for that because physically we know that their body, their circadian rhythm, so their natural sleep rhythms are mature enough to help them to sleep through the night. But what also happens around 6 months, maybe sometimes earlier, a little bit later, is you're starting to wean them onto solid foods as well. So it's kind of, you've got that extra feeling of reassurance that actually that it's not just the milk that they're getting anymore, it's solid food as well. But just going back to the age there, what you really want to, if you're around the 6 month mark and you're a little bit concerned about this, just have a think, was your baby premature? Were they late? Blah, 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 blah. If they were, premature and, quite a few weeks premature, then you just need to bear in mind that their sort of natural development might be a little bit behind the age of a normal 6 month old. So if they were born 4 weeks early, technically you're looking at a 5 month old there. But, that's not a hard and fast rule. And, I work with 5 months old children all the time to help them to sleep through the night. So it's just something to be aware of. But again, you will have a natural feeling as their parent to know, sort of how well they're doing as a premature baby. So yeah, around 6 months of age, physically we know that their body is able to do it because their circadian rhythm has matured. We know that they're starting to wean and hopefully that's going quite well. So they're getting extra nutrition in the daytime. If you do have any concerns over your child's weight, then of course the first thing you need to do is to, before you consider sleep training or consider not feeding your child throughout the night, is to speak to your health visitor or to your GP. So go along and to the children's centre or somewhere and get them weighed. Speak to your health visitor about your child saying that they're still having multiple night wakings. You feel that you want to, help them sleep a bit better, but you're concerned that, that they will not be having enough food throughout the day or the night time, and they will give you some advice on that. But also, again, take that with a pinch of salt. You are your child's parent. You know how much they're feeding in the daytime and how much at night time. You know whether they're sort of thriving, the age of the clothes that they're fitting in relation to their actual physical age. So a parent's intuition has got a lot to go with this. But all things aside, if your child is a decent weight, the health visitor's happy or your GP's happy, they're weaning well, they are feeding well, whether they're breastfeeding or bottle feeding as well, then I would probably say to you that if they are over 6 months of age, the feedings throughout the night are more of a learned feeding and a habit rather than an actual necessity. So that means is that, from a very young age, our children are feeding all throughout the night time and, the daytime. They're feeding over a 24-hour period. As they get older and older, they should start to be taking on more food throughout the daytime. So from 7 until 7 or whatever time they're awake in the day, and less food at night time where they're sleeping at longer stretches. So if your child is still waking, 3, 4, 5, however, one time a night, whatever it is for you, it's probably a learned hunger in that they've always woken up around 12 o'clock or 11 or 3, whatever those times are, and they always get fed. So they're like, okay, well, my body's just programmed to do that. What I do with the clients that I work with is help to reset your baby's clock, basically, in terms of when they feed and when they sleep. So, we kind of have the sleeping done in the nighttime and we have the feeding in the daytime. So there is a change for them to go through, absolutely. And their bodies are very clever and they adjust very quickly. So a baby that is used to feeding a lot at the nighttime, over a number of days, his body will adjust to make him take on more food in the daytime. The way that you can kind of ease out of those multiple night feedings is to choose a point in the nighttime or points in the nighttime, depending how many times your baby's feeding at the moment, of when you will allow them to have a feed. So if your baby is maybe waking 5-6 times a night, you might want to reduce that down to 2, or if it's maybe something like 3 feedings, just reducing that down to 1. So choose a point in the middle of the night where you think, okay, this is a reasonable amount of time that they've had sleep that your child can get to before you offer them a feed. And anything outside of that time should be dealt with in a different way. So you have to respond to them and help them sleep or help comfort them in whatever way you feel is suitable. But at the time that you decide that they need a feed, you respond to them straight away and give them that feed. Don't let them cry or protest for any period of time and then feed them, because it's almost teaching them that, they need to cry before they get a feed, and that's not what we want to do. So it might well be that you pick, 1 o'clock in the morning, and that anytime your baby wakes before then, you will respond in a different way and soothe them and help them